Hey guys, welcome back to CF Diesel, and we're back down in the shop working on the second gen. And before we get into today's video, I just want to make sure that y'all are subscribed to the channel, y'all are liking the videos. About 85% of y'all are either first-time viewer or you're not subscribed, so make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and clicking that subscribe button below. As this is a labor of love, it does require a bunch of work to get the content put out there on YouTube, to edit the videos, to chop up the content, everything like that. So best way to show your appreciation towards what's going on the channel is just to hit that thumbs up button on the video and subscribe. But with that being said, let's hop into today's video. As you can see, we are going to be knocking out the fender install. If you look closer, these are all painted and ready to go. Painted those here. It's going to match the firewall on the truck, the same bright silver color. So we're going to have the same paint scheme going on. They look really, really good. And then we'll head over here, and this is all the hardware and other support braces that we have as far as the front clip goes. So this is the front clip main frame, and then you have your top frame going across. Then you have support braces for the passenger side and then for the driver's side. But we have all the hardware painted, ready to go. This is our front clip hardware and then our passenger side hardware. So we're going to be kind of rounding out the front of the truck today. Everything in the engine bay is kind of knocked out, so we're not going to, limit ourselves as far as accessibility goes when we do put these fenders on. So everything else that we need to do is kind of on the top side of the engine, and we can still access it. Wanted to make sure that that's all good to go. And in the last video, you can see the shocks, and so not having to work around the fenders made that an easier install. But that is the plan for today, is to start knocking out these fenders. This was one of the first things that I took off the truck when tearing it down. So to see these go back on means that we're making great progress and we're that much closer to first fire and getting the truck knocked out and the project done. And the reason behind installing these fenders today is because kind of everything else that we need to put on the truck, especially the PCM harness, all that kind of sits on these fenders right here. And then you can see all the pre-punched holes on the fender itself. And so this is going to kind of house all the ABS brake module stuff. You can see the brake lines right here, and you can see that we have the master cylinder and everything kind of buttoned up. So getting these fenders installed is giving us the rest of the layout to install everything else inside the engine bay. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and install the front clip bracket. This one right here. This actually bolts down into the frame. Once this is installed, then we can go ahead and knock out each support bracket for the passenger and then the driver's side. And then from there, it's just as easy as setting each fender on top of the brackets and then just bolting everything down and working your way around the truck. Quick little tip, go ahead and grab yourself a plastic bag and then stretch that over each bolt head that you plan on tightening down, and that'll keep you from scuffing the paint. That's the plan on going back with all these. And we have the electric ratchets, so this should be a pretty quick install. We have Noah's truck to reference out here, so we know that we have 2 in the front right here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just work our way all the way down. You can kind of see that support bracket right here. So having this to look off of is going to make things go by pretty quick, simple, and easy. So these are basically just like your cab mounts. If you just walk over here, they sit right here in this hole, and then you'll have your other half of your bracket. It'll just clamp underneath like this, if you can see, and then you'll just run a bolt right through there and call it good. These are what we'll be holding on this front bracket right here. All right, we got our mounts. They'll go on here just like that. One right here, and then we'll go ahead and grab our front clip bracket. All right, and then so your top plates are going to face back towards the cab, and then this will just sit on it right here. We'll have that sitting there, and just line it up as close as you can get it right there. So that's pretty good. And then we'll grab our hardware, get this tightened all the way down so it doesn't have any movement, and then we'll go support brace this way, and then we'll just set the fender on and bridge this gap, and that's kind of it. There's a lot of hardware bolts that need to be fastened down. We got to make sure that everything kind of lines up and body lines are good, but that's really the idea behind it. So let's go ahead and get these knocked out.
Go.
All right, that one's pretty snug. All right, we'll keep that just snug enough. If we have to move it around, there's some play. This clip inside this bracket slides around, so we can adjust it if we need to when we go to set the fender on. All right, and then we'll get the next one. Same thing as the first one. And then if you look in here, right here, you can see there's that little backside of the threaded portion of the clip, and that's what that bolt runs up through. It's in that bracket, basically just hand tight. I'll take the Milwaukee, snug it down just a little bit, and then that kind of rounds out this. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hop right into installing the driver's side support brace. All right, and then don't forget to make sure, use your little cutout from a plastic bag and put it over the bolt head to ensure that you don't scuff up the paint. So we'll go ahead and do that for all 3 of these. There we go. All right, that's good right there. All right, so we got this fender sitting on the tire. We're just gonna go ahead and pick it up, put it on here, and then see how everything sits. All right, so after some adjustment on the cab, because we didn't have it bolted down on the cab mounts, we had to slide it back about that much. Then everything kind of looks good. We can put the fender on right here. Be careful with it. And right there it is. It's not lined up perfectly, but we kind of got the front with this hole, this is kind of lined up, and then we'll have to do some minor adjustments on it, but this is kind of the way it's sitting. looks good. We'll go ahead and start throwing bolts in there, tightening everything up and making sure all the body lines are good, and then we'll knock out the next one. All right, so as you can see, we got both the fenders bolted on. You got to work with it a little bit to make sure that everything's kind of lined up. The body lines on the cab are looking good on this side. This side's a little off, so we'll do some more playing around with it. But as you can see, here's basically going to be the engine bay. Looks really good. That bright silver color, here it is. Looks fantastic. All the way across, and then here it is back down to the firewall, all the way out to the front clip. Next thing to do is our last piece, which is just this top frame right here. This bolts in exactly like this. We'll just go ahead and set this on and make sure that those holes line up. Make sure those line up. So here we are lined up. We'll go ahead and knock these two out, and then you have one right here and you're good to go. But then basically you have the front frame of the truck. Look at that. Engine bay looks pretty big without the ABS brake module, without the battery box. And this side, we're only going to run one battery, so this is going to be open. And for compounds later on down the road, that's the idea. Keeping this side open, but looks really good. We'll go ahead and get this knocked out, and that will conclude this video. Probably do some more work in terms of getting this lined up on this side over here, but here it is. And then this will need to be sent off to the paint shop, body shop, where they can professionally align it, but just wanted to get this all thrown together. All right, so that's going to conclude this video. We got everything mounted. You saw this top frame go in right here. That was the last final piece of the puzzle. But if you look on the inside, this is kind of all the hardware that it takes to get everything bolted together. So you have two down here, two, one, and then you jump up here. You have these two, then you have this one right here, and then you have your smaller ones, and then you just kind of trace back here on the fender itself, another one right here, one right there. And then on the inside, you have two, and then you have two more right here. But that's what it looks like. That's what we're gonna roll with for now to get everything kind of situated on the inside of the engine bay, so we can get the radiator in, we can get the intercooler in, we can get the ABS stuff in, the fuse box, get the PCM harness wrapped around the entire engine, get the PCM installed back there. But it looks good. Starting to look more and more like a truck in each video. This is a big step to get it to first fire, and honestly not too bad of an install. But that concludes this video, so be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. Boss out.